Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I'm here today with the very last video of Junk Journal July 2025. Today is day 31, and our prompt today is patchwork. So, if you are new and just finding out about this project today, it's not too late. You can still do it. You just go down in the description and sign up, and you'll get an email, and that will direct you to all of the files that I have released for this month. So go ahead and jump on that, and you can start your journal and just do Junk Journal August. So anyway, for today, we are going to be doing some patchwork stuff. We're going to be doing a patchwork of things, so to speak, in this video. So I have a bunch of ideas to share with you guys, and hopefully they will resonate with you a little bit. Obviously, this is like a kind of a crazy video to be recording at this point. You know, it's the last day, 31 days, 31 videos. Holy mackerel. I mean, yes, it was an insane amount of work, but at the same time, it was kind of like an out of my life experience, if that makes sense. Like, it was so different from what I'm used to doing. It was like a vacation where I had to work, I guess is the best way I could put it. But anyway, with that aside, I felt or feel very strongly about journals, journal writing. I've been keeping a journal since I was like 9, in various forms and like ways, you know, from just straight writing in your journal to morning pages to doing, you know, creative journaling, like junk journaling. So for me, like, a journal is a place you go, and I think I mentioned this before. It's a place you go for comfort, you know, it's a place you go to be inspired. It's a place you go to make you happy, right? So I thought today what we would do is make ourselves a little patchwork house to go at the end of your journal. Now, I wanted to work in my journal, but I am not, because I want to work on the back cover. My journal is real heavy on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and work on a piece of paper and then just put it in there. You know, if you do not have the same problem as me, you could totally, you know, work in your journal. And you may not want to make a patchwork house. You know, the house may not be the symbol for you. You may want to make a different thing, right? So I did make a word sheet for today, okay? And it has a lot of words like sanctuary, haven, patchwork, belong, refuge, you know, all these, you know, creative words, inspiring words, safe words, you know, comforting words. And then I have made with love, because I think that a lot of times we make journals for other people, but sometimes we need to make journals for ourselves, and we need to make those with love as well, if that makes sense. So I thought it would be nice to put this sentiment. I did put it in my little tag book last night, but I just thought I would put that on here so that you guys would have access to the words if you wanted them. Okay, because I think it's important that we, like, you know, it's like a lot of us are doing this for mental health reasons, right? Like, a lot of us came to journaling and came to junk journaling because something difficult happened in our lives, right? So I thought it would be nice for everybody to have the made with love sentiment. So I did it in 4 different ways: script, type, small, big, just depending on, you know, I never know how you want to have it in your journal, so I always try to give a couple of options. And then I also have a little poem that fits with the house idea that I had, that is: outside of this paper house, the winds may blow, the world may shout, but ink and glue hold firm and fast, a home, a journal built to last. And I just thought it'd be nice to have like a summing up little sentiment to put in, you know, in my journal. And so I thought I would share that with you as well. And then I just have a couple of extra phrases here: a room of one's own, which is Virginia Woolf reference, and words and wonder, you know, and whatever resonates with you, maybe only one sentence of this resonates with you, you know. So anyway, sorry, that's a lot of talking, more talking than I meant to do, but I just feel like it's important that not like we recognize that, you know, like we can make stuff for ourselves with love just as much as we can make stuff for other people with love. So, and I think a lot of, for me personally, that's what a lot of this month has been about this journal. It's not for anybody else. It was just for me, and it was for me to share with you guys who understand and love the same things that I understand and love, right? So, all of that aside, let's get started on some actual journaling. So I have this piece of paper right here, and this is what I'm going to use for my background. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. I just picked one off the pile that is next to my desk. I'm going to go ahead and rough the edges up, and then I'm going to build my house. I have a couple of ideas, so I'm actually probably going to need a second piece of paper, because I want to build my house out of patchwork, and then I also want to make a patchwork heart to go on my house. So what I did is I printed out my collage tiles, and then I printed other stuff on the back of them so that I can create... I printed the blue wallpaper on the back of them and the pink wallpaper on the back of them, okay? So that I can create, like, shapes and designs if I want, okay? And I do want to, so I'm going to show you. I don't think this is going to be really super difficult or super long to do, because I'm also hoping to get some stuff to, you know, just to put some tickets in here, maybe stamp or stencil in here. I wanted to bring this stencil back into this layout as well, because I use this on a bunch of my different pages in my journal, and I also have a book page. I'm going to incorporate that into this layout. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start my background for this, and then once I have that done, I will swap over. I'll make the little patchwork pieces, and then we can put them on here, and then we'll go over to the day book, or the ledger, the mini ledger that we made. So, okay, so I'm going to ink around the edges here to start, and then I am going to tear up some book pages, and I'm going to randomly glue them on this background, and then I'm going to paint over all of it. And that's going to make kind of my background. And then I'll also stencil on there a little bit. I haven't decided exactly what colors I'm going to use, but I think it's highly likely that I'll be going with like antique white, and then that pretty blue, vintage blue color that I used, you know, on other pages in this journal. So, okay. So let's go ahead and rip some of these guys up. I'm going to rip the margins off first, and then I will go ahead and just tear up the actual pages to stick on here, because I don't want it to be solid book pages. I just want it to be a hint of book pages in the background. And then I'm going to save these little side pieces off to the side here, so that if I want to stamp on here, I can. Okay. I'm just going to tear these up. And then I'm probably going to use a glue stick to put them on, because I don't think I want to get this. I want to get this as the least wet. Is that the right word? The least wet that I can. Okay, I just need, I guess I can use this for some scrap paper here. And then I'm just going to glue these around. You probably, this was like, I had a choice of like a couple of papers. This was on the top of my stack, and I thought it would be a good one because if the background did end up showing through, it kind of would be like the sky, you know? I thought it would be like, at least like on theme, I guess would be the correct word for that. And then a lot of this is going to be covered up, but I do want the option to have some words coming through. So I'm going to do this side here. Okay. All right, and then I have a paintbrush that is dry. I have my sponge. So, like, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use here on this, because you guys, I do like the makeup sponge. I think it handles the situation pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to put this right on this paper here, and I'm going to get the Antique White paint out. I'm going to start with the paintbrush, only because I'm doing quite a bit of this page, and I think I can get, you know, quicker coverage with the paintbrush on here, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I really went to town on the paint in there. And then we can see how that goes. Because by the time I'm done with this, you're not going to be seeing like a ton of this page is not going to be left, you know? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to stick on here. I don't think there is. I think this is going to be good because I do want the house to kind of be like the central business on here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to grab the makeup sponge. Okay. And then just pick up some of this paint that's on the words. Okay. All right, so let's take this guy, put that on there. This dries so super fast that I don't even have to wait. All right, so I'm gonna do blue. I hope I can find something else to paint since I went to town on putting that paint in there. I should be able to find something. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over all of this with this stencil. And this is actually kind of the reverse in a weird way because I'm pretty sure when I stenciled with this on the pages that I used it on, I stenciled in white. And just because I want to make this as chaotic as possible, I am probably going to stamp on here too. I can also go back over some of the areas if I want and make them more white. Because I'm not like extremely concerned with getting this to be perfect, because like I said, it is going to be the background. So all right, let me grab a stamp here. I wasn't really sure what I was going to put for a stamp. Okay, so I think my most appropriate stamps for this are going to be this butterfly from Specimen, and I'm going to use Mercantile as well, which I've used throughout the whole journal. Okay, now because like I stamped on, you know, I mean I stenciled on here, I glued on here. I need it not to stick to this paper though, Okay. I'm going to go over it quickly with the heat tool, and then after that, I will stamp the butterfly and maybe a couple of other things on here, and then we can go move on to making the patchwork. Okay, and then if I want to too, I can, you know, use textiles or thread or washi tape or whatever on here later on. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what level of crazy I'm gonna go on here, if I'm gonna go like full like outspread on this or just do something simple. I feel like I will not do something simple, but let's see what happens. All right, I'm gonna put this butterfly on here, right here. I think, yeah. And I have a couple of places where this is pulling up a little. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I want to glue it down or just leave it for texture. All right, I'm just gonna cover this with archival since I'm stamping on, you know, surfaces that I painted, and you can kind of see around the edges how like the paint and the ink mixed. It's kind of nice actually how it does that. Okay, I think I did a good job on that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just go right in with the wing to go right here. Okay, all right, so okay, so now let's see. I'm gonna do I'm gonna stamp this off. The stamp can't, you know, like, because there's the piece of paper under there, it's layered, so I'm just gonna stamp off the ink off of here so that I can clean it later. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this guy, and I'm definitely gonna use this, which is the alphabet one from Mercantile. Probably right about there. Hopefully I can use this spread to bring together like a bunch of my like favorite things that I used, you know, to make this journal. So, all right, so let's go here. I'm a little bit worried you're not going to see much of that butterfly, but okay, looking good, looking good. Okay, so okay, and then let's see what else we want to use on here, if anything. I think we have to use the fine rubber stamps one. I use this on a bunch of different stuff. This is a really huge stamp block for this little stamp. Okay. I'm gonna move it down. I think this will look good right here under this text. All right, now what else should I do, if anything? I did that a little bit crooked, but that's okay because I think everything's going to be crooked on this page because of the patchwork. Comes out a little bit crooked. Okay, I have not, I'm thinking about you. Okay, I have not used this hand in the journal, but I do think it is appropriate for what we're doing here. Because it has the pen in it. I think it has to go here. I think this is like the only spot. Okay. Oops, I had it upside down. Oh my gosh. Oh, brains. Okay. No, it still needs to go here. Okay. That sari silk has threads all over the place on here. Okay. Oops. I think I stamped that lower than I... Okay. All right. And then the only thing I want to do here is put this ticket. Oops, I can't do it that way. I think I'm going to put... Okay, we're going to do that. Gonna have an idea. I'm gonna put this here. And I know I'm going to town on this background because you guys know I love to go to town on things. But any background from this kit would work for this patchwork. There are tons of them that are mixed media looking. There are tons of them that, you know, are have all different like themes and decorations and stuff like that. So like just because I'm going to town here, you know, that's no guidance for anybody else. You know, I'm just coming with the idea, and then you guys can come and do whatever you want with the idea. You know, and I just love the idea of having stamping in my background. Okay, this one is hard to stamp well, but I'm going to give it a shot. It says miscellaneous. I'm not sure if that's like super legible, but I'm going to put that right underneath the alphabet. This is kind of fun because it's, for me, it's like designing a paper, you know, like it's like actually like putting together all different stuff, and you know, that's kind of like what happens when I'm working, you know, on the computer. So this is kind of a similar activity. Okay, and this is the script from Tiny Toadstools, which is just the handiest little stamp. would have been a little easier if I had gone for a smaller stamp block here. This is just a number stamp. It says 287 on it. I'm going to use that. This is definitely from an All in Create stamp set, but I'm not sure which one. It's so interesting. The photopolymer stamps are so, they have a different stamping feel than the red rubber. Okay. All right, so I'm done with that part. So, hopefully you managed to stick through that. Okay, so I'm done with my background mostly right now. At least this part of it I'm done with. And what I'm going to do now is work on my patchwork, okay? To do that, I am going to need like a piece of cardstock. I'm going to use this piece. It's just left over on my desk. It has no special significance. What I need is 4 tiles that I like. Okay, so I picked 4 tiles that represent my house, which is the one with the quill. This is like the kind of like desk with the it's got like apothecary and a globe and stuff like that. Library shelves and an open book. Okay, so these are the things that I chose, you know, to build my house out of. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do, is put all of these on the, I'm just going to use the corner of this because I need some kind of backing for my house. And the thicker the paper that you use, like I'm going to use cardstock, but the thicker the paper that you use, the more it will stand off your background. So if you want it to kind of melt in, use a thinner paper for your background. Okay. My hot craft room strikes again with my melty glue. Okay, so just need to decide how I want to put these on here. Oh, you know what? Oh my goodness, I messed up. I totally forgot to ink these edges because I want the edges to be brown on these. I'm just going to ink them real quick as I put them down. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy in the corner here. And then this one is the bookcase. And if I did not put things into the kit that like you want to build your house out of, like say you're a tennis player, you could just cut out a picture of a tennis racket or whatever thing it is that your thing is. And some of the squares are blank for that reason. Like there's this one here that's really light. It's so that you can glue, here's another one. It's so that you can glue whatever you want on there. You might want to build your house out of words, you know, instead. So like, I just got to keep moving. I'm getting distracted. But yeah, so I just thought that offering some blank tiles would help too if you wanted to have something a little bit different on here. Maybe you want to put pictures of your family or, you know, like who knows? It could be anything. I could have built my house of pets. We just adopted a new bunny from the Humane Society, and her name is Lila, and she's so sweet. We have a bunny already, and her name is Scully. Unfortunately, we had before that we had a different bunny, but she passed away. We had her forever though. She lived a good life. But she and Scully were best friends, and so we were like, oh, we gotta get Scully a new friend. And it worked out perfect. They get along so well. They are so cute. And I will try to get pictures of everybody. I think I'm going to put my daughter on that, and then I'll just go through the whole menagerie. Because she's pretty much the one that is the reason we keep bringing animals into the house. So, except for the dogs. I love dogs, so she knows I will always say yes. Okay. All right, so this is my house. I'm going to cut that out. Okay, and so that I have a square. You could cut it out with the paper cutter if you want to have, like, make sure that you have straight lines. This isn't going to be exactly straight. I am super okay with that. Okay, so now we need to make another square, and I'm going to make this square is going to be my roof. Okay, I'm going to make my roof out of these tiles here that I printed the blue background. When I printed these out, I printed a blue background on it because I knew I wanted to make my roof blue. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to glue all 4 of those down here. I am going to ink these first this time, though. And okay, here we go. Wait, let me, why is that? Okay. This vintage photo and this color blue are just a match made in heaven. I think I mentioned this is the color that I have in my kitchen, and I love it. Every day it makes me so happy. Okay. Wipe all my little paper stuff off there. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to just glue this whole area, and then I'm going to stick my squares down in a bigger square. Alright, and I'm trying to make these like, oops, I did not get down here. I'm trying to make these not matchy-matchy, if that makes sense. Like, even though they're the same pattern, I'm trying to look for different parts of the pattern to put together. These are, there's not much differentiation, but, you know. I think that one actually, they go next to each other. Let's do this. Okay. Now these are down, and I'm going to just cut this here. And I'm going to do the same thing one more time. I can fast forward this part. Where I'm going to make another square of these. This is very sticky, so I'm going to move on to a different piece of paper for that. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to use these tiles, which I printed the pink background on, the pink wallpaper background on. So I'm going to pick 4 of these. I'm going to pick 2 of the striped kind, and then just 2 of the floral pattern. Alright, and then I'm going to glue those into a square. I did think about, like, trying to washi tape on the back of them to, like, adhere them together, but, like, I don't think anything adheres them together better than just gluing them to a piece of paper. Alright, I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock. And I am using up paper that, you know, may not have gotten used because I printed on one side of it. Because, you know, like I said, I print out a set of prints, you know, to go through on the video, but I also have to print out a set of prints for myself to use in the video. So, okay, so let's go here. And I'm just going to quickly do the same thing. And, of course, I forgot to ink them first. Put that on there. Believe it or not, we are going to start a new project on Monday, and I am very excited to share it with you guys. I think you will enjoy it. I got a ton of ideas. I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video, but like just the process of doing this Junk Journal July gave me a lot of ideas for other projects. So that was like a bonus. When I did Junk Journal January, it was a little bit more chaotic. And I was a little bit more just trying to get through the whole thing because it was the first time I had done it, and I was doing daily videos, so I didn't know what I was doing. Hopefully, by the next time it rolls around, I will have even further refined my system here. So it doesn't, it does still consume a lot of my time, but it definitely consumed less of it this time. I got a lot less sleep in January. Okay. All right, so here's this one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And then we can start assembling our house. And I'm not exactly, oh gosh, I have a lot of decisions to make, I guess, around my house. But I'm going to get it assembled, and then I'm going to worry about decorating it. Okay. This needs to be cut across here from this angle to this angle, okay? So I'm going to use a paper cutter for that because I want to get it, you know, to be fairly straight. We're going to have to do a little doctoring to it after that, but okay, so here's this. What I'm going to do is just cut right from one corner to the other corner. I'm just gonna do the best that I can here. Okay, now I have these two pieces, right? So, okay, so this is, you only need one of them for this one, because you only need one roof for your house. So if you're making two, then you have two. But, that is not glued down very well. I'm going to just put a little bit of wet glue in there. Just to get it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do now is cut this in half. Also on the little point there. Because I need to take a little bit out of the middle in order for it to fit on my journal page. Okay? I'm sorry, this is like my paper cutter is taking up the whole situation here. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit out of the middle of this. So I am, oops, let me go down on that. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just go to the first line on my paper cutter. This is not super scientific. Just trying to keep it as potentially, you know, straight as I can. Okay. All right, so that is what I took out of the middle. I could have cut my square smaller, but it's just super easy just to take that little bit out of the middle. That is somehow did not get cut like exactly right. It's just a little bit easier to take it out of the middle than it would be to make the square smaller. Okay, so like I have two edges that are not inked, and those are my edges that are going to be making my roof. Okay, so these are my two uninked edges. They're just going to go together like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink these guys. Okay, and then let's get our house and start putting this together. Okay, so this is going to go on here like this. Okay, so I still have to ink around the edges of this. And then, oh, I shouldn't have inked those edges. Holy mackerel. Okay, let me just get this all set here. And then I need to see if I need to trim anything. Okay, so that's going to be my roof, and holy mackerel, it's just going to fit. Okay. All right, I'm going to trim. This needs a little bit of trimming because I can see some white here. Just get my big, I was hoping to get my big scissors here. Okay, one of the thoughts that I did have is, like, I know I printed words on paper, but I think I might do some, like, handwriting of some of those words as well. Like, mix it up a little bit, you know, so that there's all different types of sentiments. So I'm going to go all the way around the outside of this one. I don't need to do that on the roof because it's already done. Okay, I'm going to glue this stuff down. You can see a little bit of my butterfly. Okay. All right, so I'm going to glue this down first, and then I'll glue the roof on. I like to really get a good sense of, you know, how it's going to look. I'm going to ink around the back side as well, just to make sure I have all my bases covered on the, covering up any white that might be sticking through from my two, because I used 2 layers here. And you could certainly not do it like this. You could glue everything just straight to the background. Like, I just wanted to have, like, definite layers, you know what I mean? So that's why I picked the cardstock too. Okay, so let's go here and here. Looks good. And then I'll put the roof on. Okay, all right, and now what I want to do is take this one here, and I am going to, actually I need, okay, constantly in need of a scrap piece of paper here. Like, I'm like, okay, where can I get a scrap piece of paper? I need a scrap piece of paper because I need to make a heart, because I want to put a heart on here. But I want it to be patchwork heart, you know, because I'm just going to use this here to make my little stencil. I want it to be patchwork heart, which is why I glued these together to make my heart a patchwork heart. Okay, what I wanted to do originally was, like, cut it, like, out of this. Oh, I wanted to do what I'm about to do with this paper, with this, without this intermediary step, but it's a little bit too difficult. So I am going to do the same thing that we did when we were kids to make a heart. Right, and then I have this heart is my heart stencil now. And I kind of want to get this right on the middle. I wonder if I could just do it on the front, so that way I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm just going to lightly use pencil here. And then I'm going to cut this out to go on there. Okay. I'm slightly worried that no, it's okay. All right. I thought it was going to be a little too big. I had to do like a little bit of maintenance fussy cutting because I had a little trouble with the lines on this side, which you can kind of tell, but hopefully everyone finds that very charming. Okay. So, all right, so now I have all of that done, so I'm going to put this aside, and let's glue. And this is what I'm going to put on the back cover. I was going to put my second tunnel spread on the back cover, but I'm really glad I waited and didn't do it because this feels more like the thing to put on the back cover, right? Okay, so I have all of this stuff. So let me grab my sentiments. And I'm just going to cut these up really quick. Yeah, I need like 7 days to make this because I have so many different ideas. All right, I'm just going to start like picking out what I want to go on there. Like Haven. Because I'm not going to be able to use all of these. Those are the ones I'm going to use. I'm going to start with tea dye on these. And let's see, I'm just using Distress ink. I think I might not have antique linen in Distress, only in Oxide. Let's see how this goes. We'll start with this and see how it goes. I think this is the right color for this. Hopefully it's not too dark, but I think it's okay. I'm going to add some vintage photo to the edges of this as well. And then we'll get a look about how it's going to look on there. It definitely looks old now, like much older than it did. I like tea dye because, and this could only be me because I think it has like this soft hint of like pink in it. And I don't know if that's like just me making it up or if it does, but I do like it's like warm. If that's like maybe the right word for that, you know, because it is much warmer than like the color that I see on here. Okay, I still have to do Made with Love. I have an idea for this one too. I would like to put an eyelet in this one and have it attached that way, but I'm not sure what like I'll put the eyelet on this, but I'm not sure what I don't really want to poke a hole in this for me to attach that to it. But what I thought I would do is I would put the little thread nests down, or a little piece of fabric, or a little piece of cheesecloth or something down, and then put each word on here. And I'm going to start with grow, and I'm going to put this here at the bottom because I feel like we grow, you know, up. So that's my reasoning for that one. Just gonna hold that down for a sec. One thing I like about this Nouveau glue is that it just like it gets in there pretty quick, and you know, I think I might put create in the middle. I want this to go in the corner, so it says Patchwork Journal. And I want this to be on the roof. I used those up pretty quick, huh? Quicker than I thought I would. Alright, so let's see here. I have a piece of tea-dyed cheesecloth, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit so I can put this underneath my words here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to lay down. We're going to see what happens. Okay. I'm going to start with patchwork. So I'll go like this here. So glue across the top here. I was generous with the glue because this does not want to lay flat. So I was hoping to use the glue to help me get it to lay flat. Or flattish, you know. However that goes. Okay, so then I'm going to put another piece before that sticks this way. One thing I kind of want to point out on this is that I stamped this completely crooked, but on the finished product, you cannot see that I did that. You know what I mean? So if you ever have a situation like this where you completely stamp something crooked, you could redo it. You could take off the, I mean, you could paint over it and then redo it if you wanted to. But like most of the time, it's not even necessary because it just won't be, no one will ever know, you know? Okay, so I'm going to do patchwork on the top here. And I'll trim this cheesecloth so it doesn't look so crazy. All right. Oops. I gotta make sure I have... Oh no, I do want to put this one all the way over. Oh my goodness. I need to remember my own plans. I'm also working with distress ink and I don't want to smudge it. Although I do like how it's kind of working its way into the page down here. I love the idea of a patchwork journal. I think the whole idea of it is just perfection. It's the way, like, I kind of feel like it's the way journals are probably meant to be, you know? fray off these ends. And then if it won't fray, then I'll cut them. I'll just see how I can get. This could be a little shorter. I think it's funny how I love to spend time making things look old and grungy. It just looks so good when there's threads sticking out of it. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, where's my next one? Uh-oh, did I lose it? Oh, Haven. Okay, so I want to put Haven on the roof. Let's see. Okay. I am being provided with what I need. I'm going to cut this a little smaller. I was very ambitious on my cutting. All right, now I have my Made with Love. Oh, I need to put Create in the middle here, right? Okay. I need something pink for that, because I want to highlight the pink, and I don't feel like the pink is super highlighted by this here. Okay. I'm going to try to fray this off and see if it will come off. Oh, yes. Perfect. It's really frayed in the other direction, so. All right, let me see if that is going to work. I think it will. I want to add a couple of other things to this page just to kind of, I'm not sure what the word is, but like just to fill it out a bit on the, like on the top corner there. And I'm thinking maybe over here too. Okay, I hope I have what is not a crazy idea. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is use the words to lay out on here where I want everything. Even though my handwriting is going to be a little bit different, at least I'll have an idea of how I want everything to be. You know what I mean? Okay. So I want this to go across here. And let's see. I think, what do you guys think? Okay, I hope you like it, because I'm about to commit it to the page. So what I'm thinking is I can write all around the outside of this, and then I will put outside of this paper house across the top on the roof thing. Yeah, because I think it will show up okay, because I'm going to use the white pen to do this. So, okay. I am ready. Wish me luck. I am adding a little bit of extra brown on here, just because I'm going to use the white pen. Okay, so where is my hair? Okay, I barely made it, but I made it all the way around. Okay, so I'm very excited about that. I'm gonna have to fix my, there's a couple of letters that, I noticed this with this white pen, sometimes, and it has to get warmed up, you know, and I tried writing on another piece of paper first to get it warmed up. It doesn't work. Okay, so, okay. So I got that all on there, and I'm very excited about that. Let's take a look in our ledger book. I hope you guys are not totally overwhelmed yet. Okay, so let's take a quick look. There's a couple things I want to do in there. Okay, so we can add in a few things in here as well. There's just a lot of options for this, and a lot of them are going to be the same as what you might put in a regular journal, right? Just on a tinier scale. I do have this here, and I did save these tickets from yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and ink those, and I could add probably some words to these. Then we can put these in there. I'm thinking about trying to add, okay. Oh, I need to do these ends. That's why they look weird. Okay. Okay, so I have these guys here. Let me see what I have. Okay. All right, okay, so let's, okay, so I have the pocket that I made yesterday here. So I think 2 of our tickets can go in there. But I think also I need to put something on the tickets. Okay, you guys may recall that I accidentally printed and cut 2 of the same ephemera page, and it just happened to be the one, I think, with all the flowers on it. So I have plenty of flowers. And also, I dropped this stamp the other day when we were making our our stamp little collage. I actually dropped 2 of my stamps somehow in the process of doing that. Not surprising, because, you know, sometimes I get interrupted, which I usually, you know, I edit those interruptions out, obviously, but, you know, sometimes I get interrupted and then I have to like get up or move, and then I, you know, inadvertently move something and then it's not there when I get back. Or a dog decides to jump on my chair, which happens. Okay, so let's do a little butterfly action here, and I'm gonna bend it up a little so that I can get just a tiny bit of height off of that. I'm just making a teeny little tag out of this piece of, I don't know what this is. Oh, I bet it's from one of the masterboards. I just went through my little container of ephemera for this project, and I still have a few pieces left over for sure, that I cut, and you know, we don't want to waste what we cut. So alright, so I'm just gonna ink here on the top. Should I give it a tag? Give it a tag top? Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna go with the second size. There we go. You know what I never used is the file tabs, which is kind of a bummer. I'm gonna do a paper clip on that one because I love attaching things, you know, to the side of the page. Sorry about my drawer rattling. I just like the way it looks. And I want to turn, ooh, what did I do here? Okay, I want to turn something I have here into a tag for that pocket with the tickets. Oh, how cute is that? Okay, I also have some flowers. Where's that little yellow guy? This is really sweet. Okay, me decorating stuff involves a lot of flipping around. This is part of the masterboard from a while ago. I don't know what day did I do that on? I don't even remember. Okay, so I've got this. This is just super pretty. I'm just gonna see where. I do want to have something else there. I really want to get this in too. This is like a rose, like stained glass rose. Go in there. I also have this word here that says wild. I feel like it kind of fits with this page. I'm not really sure. I don't really want to block the image. Okay, give me a second here. Oh, I do have an idea. Okay, so I had like saved a bunch of the offcuts, no matter how tiny they were, for all the stuff that I cut out. And I'm thinking, let's do like a little mini collage up there at the top. Like a cluster, you know? And then I can put the word wild on it. I was going to do that. I think I'll do that on a couple of these pages, actually. All right, so you get these like little... This words here. It's not going to take much. It's probably going to take like maybe 3 pieces of paper total to make this little cluster on a small project like this, which is another reason why like these little books are so fun, right? What? I think something just rolled on the floor as I was awkwardly cutting that. Okay. Okay, so then I also have what I'm looking at, the like patterns that I have on these tiny, tiny pieces of paper. Okay. Oh, that was my inker. Okay, so I'm going to put this one all over here. Okay, and now just a little something in the like vein of fabric. It is going to need to be a sliver though. But it needs to be fabric, I think, not thread. Okay. And now I'm going to trim down this just ever so slightly, or ever so a lot. I hope this is what you guys were hoping to see. You know, a lot of, like, me decorating this page is going to be a lot like me decorating the main journal. I am thinking about a little bit of tissue paper on the top of this page, just for a little extra color. Also, I love the way this tissue paper looks on the page. It's this like brown tissue paper, and it has like it melts in almost. So I guess that's why I like it so much. It like becomes part of this, and it's surprisingly strong. Looks like I did not get any glue on that part because it doesn't have any interest in going down. There we go. I feel I need some of that ripped text. Where did I put that? Okay, so I have actually stamped ripped text, so maybe I'll use that. I like doing these like little bits of like clustery things on pages just for decoration. It's not like a big thing, it's just a little thing, you know? But I don't know, I just like it. Isn't it neat how this ribbon takes on the color of the page that, like, it's white, but, you know, it becomes part of the page. Okay, so I think, I can't decide. I think this should be a belly band. I'm going to try to cut this a little bit more evenly. All right, I'm going to glue it around the edge here instead. I like it better on the edge of the page here. Okay, I'm gonna just wait to trim that. And look, I just need to take a quick look at my ephemera situation here to see what I can stick in there. I do have this little pink note, but it's not very big. And I think, like, what I need is, I needed to probably make some tall ephemera for this specifically. Okay, I did get the little file tabs out that I did not use. So let's give this a shot here at making this into like a tag with a file top. Let me try to improve my folding here. Okay, and then once I get this done, I think we'll go back to my main spread and put it in my journal. Okay, so ink. And then we'll be calling it done for this year's Junk Journal July, which is wild, you guys, that we got through it. I'm super excited to have made it through. I am excited, I will admit, to have a little bit of like free time off. It won't be a lot because obviously we're gonna kick off on Monday with something else. But I'm really excited to just reorganize my craft room because things got a little wild in here over the past couple of days, especially like the last week. I would say everything kind of got a little bit messier. I'll cut that ribbon off. Wondering. The glue is sticking. I may have done a bad job gluing. Yeah, I'm gonna stick this in here as well, I think. Or should it? Yeah, I like the pink. I have this one too. I actually have a ton of stuff here, huh? We could put this on this side of the page since I have that already there. I didn't really find a place for my... I can put things in here. I think they look good in there. Could we put a flower in there too? I like to fill up a pocket. Okay, that's pretty. All right. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't want it to get too fat because I need it to fit underneath the belly band in the in my actual journal, because I want to make sure I keep this together with my journal. All right, I'm going to clean this up really quick and then we'll go back to the other one. What in the name of Pete did okay. Okay, so here is this here. I'm going to get my journal too because I think that's going to help me. Oh no, I think I glued that to that. Because this is the spot it's going to go in right here. Doesn't it just feel like it belongs right there? I'm going to have to pry this off of here. Come on, little bud. Oh, okay, there, he came off. Okay. Okay. I'm going to glue this onto the back here. I'm trying to decide. Okay, I think I'm going to use combo glue. I think I'm going to glue stick the whole thing and then also use the white glue, the Nuvo. Because nothing beats the like straight up coverage of this glue stick. Like it covers the whole thing evenly, but also I want the like strength of the Nuvo. Okay, that should do it. Guys, I was just wishing I put a pocket on here, and then I remembered these tiny little envelopes. What if I use these? Do you think this is that too? I was kind of thinking of this idea. I have glue all over my fingers, I'm sorry. Of putting all of the stuff in the envelope and then attaching the envelope to the page. Now, I could attach it like this, right? Just the flap, so it flips up. Ideas, ideas, ideas. So in order to do that, what I would do is cut this up, which is going to be tight, because this was not the one that was meant to be cut up. I did make one that was specifically made to be cut up. Okay, here, wait, let's do this. I'm sorry about my journal. This is what happens when I switch gears all of a sudden. I didn't even have pocket on my radar, to be honest, when making this page, because I was kind of like, oh, I'm making the last page, you know? Okay, so let's go ahead and ink these. So this will be like, almost like, because it's not going to be clear, but it'll be like a shaker card with words. Okay, what did I do? Oh my gosh, it's still here. Because we want to get the both sides of this, you know? A little harder to do when they're this tiny. Note to self. Next time, do them before you cut them. That's okay, this is the last one. Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. So the heart is in there. Now, I don't know. I wish I had some, like, heart. This is the first time you're ever going to hear me say this. I wish I had some heart confetti. Oh, you know what, you guys? Okay. I promise to be done soon. I hope I don't have too much text on here. I'm a little bit worried that I do. Okay, if I want to, I could make heart confetti. I am not going to right now because, you know, I'm worried this is verging on 2 hours at this point. But, I might. I'll let you know. I'm going to put my heart in there. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is put the glue on here. Okay, so I'm gluing only the flap down right here. Okay. I think the only thing that I would have done differently about this is to maybe have cut a little bit more around these words. I'm just outlining this in this pink so that it stands out just a little bit. And I love this color so much, so that's another reason. All right, and then this can still be flipped up and accessed, so yay for that. Okay, I think I'm going to call it a night on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this last video. I am so super grateful to all of you for sticking with me through this. Whether you did 1, 5, 10, or all of them, it doesn't matter. Like, you still participated in it, and I think that's like, you know, that's where it's at. You know, that's journaling, right? You don't always make it every day. So, you know, that's why I think this month is so great, because I'm not going to make it every day for the rest of this year. So at least I did it for the month, right? I hope you guys got a lot out of this and enjoyed yourselves and made a beautiful journal, and we'll keep journaling, and will join me again on Monday for our next project. And I promise it's going to be a fun one. So I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining me for today and for this month.